You see, in life, we teach people how to treat us by what we allow, what we stop, and what we reinforce. The moment you set boundaries, you start defining your worth, not for them, but for yourself. Some people will respect that, and others will push against it. And those who push, those who demand, those who feel entitled to more than they should, that's where the warning signs begin. Not everyone who asks for something is a problem. That's not what this is about. But when you start noticing a pattern, when someone always needs a favor, always needs your time, always needs your energy, but somehow when you need something, they're nowhere to be found, that's when you have to step back and ask yourself, is this a relationship or is this a transaction? Transactions are one-sided and they'll drain you dry if you let them. People who don't respect boundaries will test you. They'll act like you owe them something. They'll get upset when you say no. They'll try to make you feel guilty for prioritizing yourself. And that's when you know it was never about you. It was always about what they could get from you. If your presence in someone's life is only valued when you're giving, then you are not in a friendship. You are in a situation that will exhaust you. You have to understand that saying no doesn't make you selfish. Protecting your peace isn't rude. You can't keep pouring from an empty cup. And if you let people take and take without stopping to ask, how are you, without ever considering what you need, then you'll find yourself worn out, frustrated, and resentful. Not because of them, but because you allowed it. The truth is, people will take as much as you allow. So you have to decide, are you going to be someone who sets the standard for how you deserve to be treated, or are you going to be someone who lets others decide that for you? You have to be strong enough to understand that not everyone will like your boundaries. Not everyone will applaud you for choosing yourself. But those who truly respect you, they won't test you. They won't guilt you. They won't disappear when you stop giving. The right people will understand, and the wrong people will reveal themselves the moment you stop giving them unlimited access. And when that happens, don't fight it. Don't explain yourself. Just step back. Life has a way of showing you who people really are if you're paying attention. See, not everyone comes into your life with good intentions. Some people show up because they see an opportunity. They see what you can offer, what you can do for them, how they can benefit from being around you. And at first, they might seem kind, supportive, maybe even charming. But over time, their true colors start to show. The problem is, by the time you notice, you've already given them too much access. You have to recognize the signs early. People who take more than they give. People who only come around when they need something. People who guilt trip you when you can't be there for them, but are suddenly too busy when you need them. They always have a crisis, always have an excuse, always have a reason why their needs should come before yours. And if you don't recognize these patterns, you'll find yourself drained emotionally, mentally, and sometimes even financially, wondering how you got here. Some people manipulate in ways that are so subtle, you don't even realize it's happening. They'll make you feel like you're the bad guy for setting boundaries. They'll play the victim when you call them out. They'll twist your words, turn the story around, and somehow you end up apologizing for things you never did. And if you're not careful, you start questioning yourself. Maybe I was too harsh. Maybe I should have helped them one more time. Maybe I'm overreacting. No, you're not overreacting. You're seeing the truth, and the truth is uncomfortable. The hardest part about recognizing toxic patterns is accepting that some people you care about are not good for you. Maybe it's a friend you've known for years, maybe it's a family member, maybe it's someone you looked up to. But you can't let history or attachment blind you to reality. Time doesn't make a bad relationship good. Blood doesn't excuse manipulation. Loyalty shouldn't come at the cost of your peace. When someone constantly takes more than they give, when they make you feel guilty for putting yourself first, when their presence in your life leaves you feeling exhausted instead of uplifted, that's your sign. That's your warning. And you don't owe them an explanation for walking away. You don't owe them another chance. You owe yourself the freedom to live without constantly being drained by people who never had your best interest at heart. When you start recognizing these patterns, trust what you see, believe what people show you the first time. And when the signs are there, don't ignore them. Walk away. Some people don't ask for much, not at first. They don't come right out and take from you. No, they start with something small, a little favor here, a little extra time there, and before you know it, you're carrying the weight of their problems on your back, feeling guilty every time you even think about saying no. That's how emotional drain works. It doesn't hit you all at once. It's slow, it's subtle, and it's dangerous. Because the people who do this, they know exactly what they're doing. They know how to pull at your heartstrings, how to make you feel responsible for their happiness, how to guilt you into showing up for them over and over again. Even when it's at the expense of your own well-being. They'll tell you things like, if you were really my friend, you'd do this for me. Or, I guess I can't count on you like I thought I could. And the moment you start feeling guilty, the moment you start second-guessing yourself, they've won. Because now you're no longer making choices based on what's right for you. You're making them based on how to avoid feeling bad. And that's how they keep you in the cycle. See, guilt tripping is a form of control. It's not love, it's not care, and it's not friendship. It's manipulation. Real love, real friendship, real support doesn't come with conditions. It doesn't require you to constantly prove yourself. It doesn't drain you to the point where you're exhausted. But you keep showing up because you're afraid of what will happen if you. Think about the people in your life who always need something, your time, your energy, your emotional support. But when you need them, suddenly they're too busy. Suddenly they disappear. Or worse, they make you feel guilty for even asking. You know, I've got a lot going on. I can't believe you'd put that on me right now. So now, not only do they not support you, but they make you feel bad for even thinking they would. You can't keep letting people like that drain you. You can't keep pouring into others and leaving yourself empty. At some point, you have to step back and ask, is this person adding to my life, or are they just taking from it? And if all they ever do is take, then the decision is simple. You don't argue, you don't explain, you don't let guilt keep you in a place that's hurting you. You just walk away. Some people don't want friendship. They don't want connection. They want access. Access to your time, your energy, your resources. And if you're not careful, they will take and take until there's nothing left. You start small. A little loan they promise to pay back. A favor that turns into a habit. A request that sounds reasonable at first, but before you know it, you're giving more than you ever intended. Because people like this, they don't ask once. They ask again and again and again, and every time you give in, you're teaching them that they can keep coming back. They don't see your generosity as kindness. They see it as an opportunity, and the moment you try to pull back, the moment you say, I can't do this anymore, they flip the script. Suddenly you're selfish. Suddenly you changed. Suddenly, after everything they've done for you, you can't even do this one thing for them. That's how manipulation works. They don't just take from you. They make you feel guilty for wanting to stop. And it's not always about money. Sometimes it's your time, your energy, your peace. People will ask you to drop everything for them, to fix their problems, to carry their burdens, without ever stopping to think about what it's costing you. And if you don't put a stop to it, if you don't set limits, they will drain you dry. Now, understand this. Helping people isn't the problem. Being there for the people you love isn't wrong. But there's a difference between support and sacrifice. If someone only comes to you when they need something, if the relationship is built on what you can provide rather than mutual respect, then that's not a relationship. It's a transaction. Real friends, real family, real people who care about you don't take advantage of you. They don't make you feel guilty for setting boundaries. They don't disappear when you stop giving. The right people will respect your limits. The wrong people will make you feel bad for having them. So pay attention. Pay attention to who's always asking but never offering. Pay attention to how people react when you say no. Pay attention to whether they value you for who you are or for what you can do for them. Because the people who truly care about you, they don't keep score. They don't take more than they give. They don't see you as a resource. They see you as a person. And if someone in your life only sticks around for what they can gain, you don't need them in your life at all. Your mind is your home. Your peace is your foundation. And if you let the wrong people in, if you allow them to take up space in your thoughts, your emotions, your energy, you will find yourself drained, exhausted, and questioning why you feel so off all the time. The truth is, toxic people don't just waste your time, they steal your peace. They rob you of your joy. They leave you carrying the weight of their problems while they walk away feeling lighter, and after a while it starts to show. You feel more anxious. You feel more stressed. You start second-guessing yourself, losing confidence in your own decisions, wondering if maybe you're the problem. That's what happens when you surround yourself with people who don't have your best interests at heart. You see, energy is contagious. Spend enough time around people who are negative, manipulative, or selfish, and you'll start feeling drained even on your best days. It's like carrying a weight that you were never meant to hold. You wake up tired. You feel constantly on edge. And even when you have a moment of peace, you can't fully enjoy it because you're always anticipating the next demand, the next guilt trip, the next way they'll pull you back into their cycle. And the worst part, the longer you let it go, the harder it is to recognize. You get so used to the exhaustion that you think it's normal. You tell yourself, this is just how life is. Or, maybe I'm just being too sensitive. No, you are not too sensitive. You are not asking for too much. You are simply seeing the effects of allowing the wrong people too much access to your mind, your heart, and your energy. At some point, you have to make a choice. Do you continue letting these people drain you, or do you take back control of your peace? Because you can't have both. You can't keep allowing toxic people into your life and expect to feel at peace. You can't keep giving and expect not to run empty. You have to decide that your mental health, your well-being, your peace of mind, those things matter. And they matter more than keeping people around just because you've known them for a long time or because you don't want to hurt their feelings. When someone consistently drains your energy, disrupts your peace, and leaves you feeling worse instead of better, that's all the reason you need to step away. No explanation, no argument, just protect your peace and let them go. At some point, you have to stop waiting for people to change and start changing the way you respond to them. Some people will never respect your boundaries. Some people will never stop taking advantage of your kindness. Some people will never see the problem because for them, there is no problem. As long as they're benefiting, as long as they're getting what they want, they have no reason to stop. So it's not on them to change, it's on you to decide what you're willing to allow. But you don't need to argue. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to spend hours trying to make them see why their behavior is draining you. Because the truth is, they already know. People who take advantage of others, they know exactly what they're doing. They know when they're crossing a line. They just don't care. And if you keep making excuses for them, if you keep telling yourself maybe this time will be different, all you're doing is giving them permission to keep doing it. At some point, you have to say enough. Enough of the one-sided relationships, enough of the guilt tripping, enough of the manipulation, the excuses, the constant demands. You have to put yourself first, not because you don't care about other people, but because you can't keep sacrificing your peace for people who wouldn't do the same for you. And here's the hard part. Walking away isn't always easy. Sometimes the people you need to distance yourself from are the ones you've known the longest. Sometimes they're family. Sometimes they're people you thought would always be in your life. But you have to ask yourself, at what cost? At the cost of your mental health, your happiness, your ability to breathe without feeling like you owe someone something? There is nothing selfish about protecting your energy. There is nothing wrong with deciding that your peace matters more than keeping the wrong people happy. The people who truly care about you won't guilt you for setting boundaries. They won't disappear the moment you stop catering to their needs. The right people will understand. The wrong people will make you feel bad for choosing yourself. And when that happens, don't chase them. Don't explain yourself. Don't hold on to people who have already shown you that they were never really there for you. Let them go. Because the moment you start protecting your peace, the right people will find you and the wrong ones will remove themselves. And that's a trade you should be willing to make.